Good morning, how are we all doing? Pete here, just out on the Himalayan, just doing a bit of work. I am gonna, one of my subscribers was saying about the tops, this looks a bit manky, so I am gonna repaint that once I've done it. So I'm just out gonna do the valves this morning. So you take this case off the front here, that goes under there. Just remove that, quite easy. Got two Allen key bolts, remove them. And here you've got a little inspection cap at the front of the crankcase. I've taken the spark plug out so it's easy to turn, and I turn it clockwise, I do. Now there's a debate whether which way you do it and does it matter which way you do it, but I do it clockwise. Where's my torch gone? Just bring it back in a sec. In there you can see a T mark, which when you turn that clockwise, let's try and turn this. Sorry about this, but there's a bit, you can see the T quite clearly in there, to the T mark in there. What I do, I just come round, I get a thin screwdriver or something like that, and you can feel the top of the piston. You can tell it's at top dead centre. It's all pretty straightforward. Right, I'll bring you back in a minute. There's not a lot of room in here on the Himalayan. That's the only downside, but I sort of got a couple of feeler gauges. So that's your exhaust valve in there. And it is a bit loose, but that's got to be 0 between 22 and 24 on the exhaust valve. So I'll get a feeler gauge and I'll check that. And the one at the back here, 0.09 on the, I've already removed the bolts and everything. There's just not a lot of room to maneuver in there. And that's your inlet in there. That feels quite tight, to be honest with you, but I'll have a look in a minute. That does feel a bit tight, that inlet valve, and that's got to be 0.09. Although there is a bit of movement there, it's going to be a very thin feeler gauge in there. But yeah, and I've got a little tool that fits on the top, just to hold on the top, undo the little 10mm bolt and just adjust it like that. It is quite straightforward. It's just about a practice, really. I've done loads of cars over the years and stuff like that. You don't do it these days so much with motorbikes and cars. It's all shims and stuff, but this is pretty old school on the Himalayan, so sort of pretty used to it. It is a faff to get in there. There's not a lot of room, and it is a bit of a, you know, I mean, if you're not sure, just get a garage to do it. But yeah, just a little look at the valves. So I'll check them and I'll bring you back in a minute. So I've just done the valves. What I did also, I took these two bolts, just watch your wires on there, took those two bolts off there, and then that bracket all comes out. You can just get it out of the way so you can get in there to, I've got to just tighten the rocker cover up. But yeah, the inlet was a bit tight, so I've loosened the inlet off a little bit, and that is the most awkward one to get to because you just can't get in there very well. But the exhaust is pretty straightforward and pretty easy, but like I say, the inlet is a little bit more tricky. But I started at just about 9. I remember I had this all stripped off, so I had tank off and everything off. I started at 9 o'clock. That's just gone 9:30 now, so half an hour job once it's cleared out the way, you know. So if you've got basic tools, feeler gauge, spanners, sockets, that sort of stuff, it is pretty straightforward. And just as long as you take your time. Obviously got to be careful you don't drop anything down in the rocker cover. But yeah, all good. Anyway, speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Pete out.